Is PlayStation virtual reality going to change the world as we know it?
Let's talk about it.
What's up, everybody? This is Jake. Welcome to the official Plugged In Vodcast. Sitting here alongside
Bob
Hoos, and we are talking about something that is brand spanking new. The PlayStation VR. Oh my goodness.
Coming right at you.
See, this little headset that you may have seen commercials for, you may have seen some videos for, or I don't know if you've seen anything about this at all. But it looks pretty simple right there.
Yeah. Looks like the wave of the future, something you just sort of pop on your head and suddenly you're in virtual reality.
But as you're about to see on this episode, it's not quite as simple as everybody makes it look. So there is a lot more here. And so what we're going to do actually today is we're going to do some show and tell. You're going to get to see, we're going to set this thing up from scratch, basically, and show you guys what it looks like to step into a world of virtual reality. It's not quite as simple and
and that's the point. That's why we want to do this, is because there are actually three little problems with the VR. It's still really cool once you get in there and you're immersed in this virtual world that's all 360 degrees all the way around you. It's really pretty sharp. But there are some drawbacks, like, for example, cost. If you haven't looked into this at all, just the headset alone costs $400. And if you want to get the introductory sort of launch package, which has the headset, and then you have to have the Sony camera, and the package also comes with some wands that you can use as controllers.
The PlayStation Move
right,
stuff.
And that one bumps it up to about $500. But outside of the cost, then you've got the setup, like Jake was just talking about. It's, you think you have this concept in your head when you see them in commercials. You just sort of pop this thing on and bammo, you're ready to go. But that's not true. No. There's tons of pieces. It's a very complicated process of putting everything together, and it's not quite as easy as you may think. And you guys are going to set it up for us, just give them a good idea.
Yeah, we are. So before we talk about the third problem with VR and discuss some of the implications of VR, we're going to jump over and check out the setup of VR. So it's pretty interesting.
Let's do it.
Alright guys, so what we have here is everything you need for PlayStation VR, which, if you've seen commercials, probably just thought it was this headset. But look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at least 13 different pieces that you need to get this thing set up. So I brought my buddy Tim here. Tim hosts a podcast called Fathers of the Grind, and we're going to see how long it takes two dummies to set this thing up.
I'm terrified.
So wish us luck. This is a really awkward, lean.
We got it.
All right. How many minutes are we in?
Yeah.
Whoa! Hell! And now, look at that! Look at that! Now there's plugs
exposed.
here. Exposed, not exposed.
Yeah.
Exposed, not
Amazing.
exposed. Exposed.
Amazing.
It's like cocking it's like cocking a gun.
I have no idea why it's designed that way. That makes no sense to me. There it is. There's the unit.
We're finally getting to
There
the
it
unit.
is.
Look at that thing. Huh?
Yes.
Huh? Huh? Oh. Weighs about 1,000 pounds.
Does it matter which one goes into which?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It sure does. That one goes there.
Look at that. I feel good about this.
Got it?
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
great about it.
Now we need to take the supplied stereo headphones
I'll get it.
that have already been in Bob's ears and
Yeah.
his son's ears.
Well, hopefully their family keeps a box of Q-tips around.
Alright, so those plug into somewhere on the headset.
The dongle.
Oh, the dongle.
Goes right here.
The dongle.
Of course.
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah. Ready?
Yep. Oh my goodness.
But let's just take what's happening with this.
Oh yeah, look at that. This is for people whose heads are like, ears are like this.
What? These earphones didn't fully develop. That is really strange.
It's like you're like-
okay, I'm sure there's a reason for that. I just don't know what it is.
No, I think you have to wait for the PS4 to be on. Ugh, you're the worst. Guys, we
That's
just
it.
set up the PlayStation
That's it.
VR.
We got it.
There it is, in all of its glory.
I think that's high five worthy. All right, I'm ready.
This is how we were. There's 2 buttons on this now, and I'll let you know about
Are we
them.
ready?
Yep. Go ahead and give it a shot.
Here we go. Wait. Is my head too big? Whoa. Whoa, I can see a lot of light under here though, which is kind of
Well, they'll adjust.
weird. Okay.
First of
Where's my
all,
controller?
they're instructing you to extend the band itself so that it's a little bit wider. And there's a button directly in the back.
This little
Nope.
turny thing?
That's a dial.
There we go.
The
hey,
button.
hey now.
Press. There you go.
Dials and buttons for
Okay, got
the
it.
digital generation.
I'll be honest, it's not clear and smooth just yet. Although I can see a weird reflection of Ryan right out of the corner of my eye here. I've never been more terrified of Ryan. Okay, everything's clear now. That's good. Let's do this. Enjoy your VR experience. Well, we'll see.
Now, is it tight enough so there's no other extra light coming in?
No.
So
No,
you
no.
can tighten it on up.
Come on, Tim. Don't be afraid of the pin.
Guys, I don't want
Don't
to
be afraid
squeeze
of
my
pain.
head.
No, I mean even the visor. You can just move the visor in closer to your face.
I think he is.
It's as close in as it's going to get, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he has it max.
Yeah, I have a weirdly shaped head, everybody.
Can we just point out how awkwardly shaped Tim's head
I'm,
is?
I'm discovering that my head has a very weird shape to it. I won't experience the
You'll have
volume
You'll have sound
immersion,
in
and
fact,
that's
That's actually one of the advantages. One of the few advantages is that you can run the sound through your TV, and if you've got like a surround system that your TV
yeah,
hooked up.
and then you can still hear
Yeah.
emergencies in your home.
Yeah.
Daddy!
That's a big concern of mine. Is house is on fire, but Daddy's enjoying his new game. I am glad there's only one cable, though. I envisioned more cables coming out
Yeah,
of
at
it.
least all the cables are on the table.
All right, what am I doing here? I'm in a cockpit.
Look up.
Whoa.
Grab that bar.
With what? With my controller?
I just wanted you to look stupid.
Guys, I am so good at that game.
Game beat.
Yeah, so I feel like that particular experience looked cool and it felt cool. The sensation of being able to look around was cool, but it didn't change. As someone who plays a lot of games, it didn't change the way I played.
Are you rolling, Ryan?
Oh yeah, you better believe it.
Hey, we do this so you parents don't have to.
That's right. Christmas morning is gonna be not as fun if you have to go through all this.
My hands! My hands! There it is, yeah. Ah. Woo!
Please put on the VR headset.
Quit waving it around. All right, so as you guys saw, like, we sped that up to make it less painful for you guys. It was quite a hefty little setup. It's you know, it's definitely not plug and play.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take some time. There's different cables. You've got proprietary cables. You've got HDMI's. You've got all these different. You've got the camera. Even the camera itself isn't as easy as it may seem, in the sense of how you twist it, how you mount it on that little stand,
Right.
and everything.
Because even once we got it mounted, we had to play it. We had to adjust it. So,
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about cost. We showed you the setup. Now, what are some?
Well, one thing we should probably note.
Okay.
With this little headset, as you saw when they were setting it up, the little lights light up around it, and that's essentially how the system tracks it, because the camera tracks, it doesn't track the headset itself, it tracks the lights, and that can actually lead to another little tiny problem that sometimes you can get with some of the games, because there's a lot of movement in some of the games, very movement heavy games. The camera can sometimes lose track of the lights. At least that's how I think.
That's what it
the
felt
problem,
like
the
when
problem
you were
is,
playing it.
and you get this sense of motion sickness. You know, because essentially you're looking, but your world isn't shifting at the same degree that your head or neck or the way your eyes are looking at things, and so the world sort of slides a little bit, and I think it sort of impacts whatever complicated sensors we have in our head.
Yeah.
I mean, did you sense that at all when you were playing?
I didn't in the little bit that I did.
Because you just did the
right,
Batman
because I
one.
was just doing the Batman one, so I didn't have the same exact experience.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see the potential for that.
Yeah, well, because I reviewed the Battlezone game, which is a fun game, but when I was looking up at these drones that would be flying in and strafing, the movement like this, sometimes I think the camera would lose some of the sensors,
okay.
and I know I felt it.
Get a little shaky. All right. So besides those problems, what else are we having to think about with VR? Like we've talked about virtual reality for years.
Right.
The concept of stepping into another world, visually speaking, is not new. But what kind of implications are there with this kind of tech?
Well, I think especially as it gets more streamlined, you know, as the process becomes easier and much more intuitive. I think the only other problem that you're potentially going to deal with is the fact that it is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, when you guys were looking at the screen when had the headsets on, it all looked very flat and one-dimensional, two-dimensional. But when you're in there, you really are immersed in this 3D world that is very involving games, and then you can actually step into them. Well, there's any amount of potential for consuming your time and just having your world be filled with this virtual reality.
And this feels a little bit like we're almost there, because the headset can be uncomfortable, and so there's things that kind of take you out of the experience. But when you have the headset on and you've got the earphones on, you know, I had a weird experience the first time I tried it. I had my daughter with me, and I was sitting there in the chair, and she's right there with me. She has her hand on my knee, and I put the headset on, I put the earphones on, and I'm in this world, and I'm looking around. And then the game starts, and it's like, whoa, I'm in space, I'm looking around, I'm seeing spaceships. And she takes her hand off my leg, and all of a sudden, I'm completely sensory deprived of her presence. And I started to physically get anxious. And I was like, where are you? And the guy's like, it's okay, she's right there. But I had no clue. And if I was in that setting, you know, at home, it would be so easy to be completely lost.
Where you're all
It's
wrapped up in
yeah.
this world, and the house is set on fire, and you won't know.
So we have to be aware that as much as other games can be consuming, and that's already been something we have to balance out in our lives. Like this just literally takes your physical senses
Right.
and completely consumes them, which is very cool and also very a very odd experience.
And the sky's the limit for what they can do with
Right.
it eventually.
Yeah, as it becomes more comfortable, as it becomes more affordable, and as the games are developed, as the movies are developed for this sort of thing, it really feels like VR is probably actually coming into its own now.
Yeah, well, and even in the world of television.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, there have been some reports of shows that are actually going to start broadcasting in VR.
There you have it. So have you guys tried it out yet, or is this your first time really getting your eyes and ears on it? Let us know what you think and where you think this is going and what kinds of walls this is breaking down, because I don't think this is going away anytime soon. So be sure to leave comments below. And as always, like and subscribe to us here on YouTube so we can keep bringing you vodcasts like this.
Right.
And until next time, I'm Jake.
And I'm Bob.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Thanks.